So hello everyone, welcome back to the Nukeshot Endurance Series here on Half the Race Gone, Round 3 AM Split Extended Highlights Package, brought to you here by myself, NS Zokeo, once again. Nice of you to be joining us. TSR Jimmy, pace car driver for today. Making their way around, of course standing in for Felix. It was a Rebellion 1-2 in qualifying. There you see Arama managing to qualify ahead of Mika. It was a Nukeshot 1-2-3 with myself qualifying third in LMP. Pescarolo in their second race of the season. Their debut was at Monza, of course. Tribe qualifying fifth, and Spludge in the front wheel drive Nissan qualifying in sixth. And Houdini will be starting at the back of the LMP grid. Meanwhile, it was Rotary that took a fantastic pole position in the Nissan GTR, with James, who's been looking really strong all season, lining alongside them in second. Farron managed to take third in that Porsche 911. Strong result for them so far. Tez, a newcomer to the series, they have qualified fourth in their debut. GTO 5th in that Hyundai Genesis. Brandon not as strong as he would have been hoping for, they qualified 6th, and Mythical will be rounding off the back of the grid. You see the cars weaving about, trying to get some warmth into their tyres. Jimmy still going around in the safety car, of course. Fantastic to see. We've got a bit of a replay coming up here of something that happened on the safety car, the pace lap, and that's Tribe going into the wall, losing it again. That TSR 50 has really gotten the better of him so far this season. But we are making our way through the final sector. The cars still weaving frantically, trying to get warmth into their tyres. We have seen plenty of mistakes at the start of the races before, so they're trying their best to not repeat that again. Jimmy goes into the pit lane. Arama will be leading us off. Onto the start finish straight they go, and it's going to be green, 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 and the cars are off. Immediately, Mika ducking into the slipstream, looking down the inside as he trying to find momentum, has to look to the outside as well. Looking around, it gets close, and there's a bit of contact between me and Mika, and we're both off onto the grass. And then the slide out, massive punt. Mika into the wall, heavy damage for them. Houdini also running a bit wide, it seems. Tribe seeming to be the one colliding with Mika. Myself also involved in that incident. We'll be having a replay of that shortly. Houdini has meanwhile managed to sneak up to fourth after a very solid start from them, just avoiding all of the incidents. Splurge up to third, Pesca second. Here's the incident there. You see I just about tapped Mika, which sent the car a bit unstable, and then gets absolutely rammed by Tribe. Unfortunate to see. Also, this is Tribe just out braking himself, losing it on the AstroTurf on the outside of the corner, going into Pesca, and then there you see it. Bit of a unsafe rejoin in that situation, as we now go to the GT start, as there's a little bit of contact with the barrier of some cars at the back there, but we are racing here in the GT3 category as well. Rotary with a very solid start, pretty much unchallenged going into turn 1. That GTR very strong on the straights, as is the Aston, mind you, and the Porsche of Farron going a little bit wide. Old Taz with a massive slide on manages to keep it together. GTO in 5th, Brandon 6th. Everyone pretty much staying in their positions at the moment. Mythical 7th. And we're going to see a replay of what happened here. So Brandon runs wide and drives into Mythical. That's unfortunate to see. So damage picked up by them, and that's going to be the safety car called out. So the safety car is out in this early stage of the race. Now as they're making their way up through the pits, believe not quite open yet, I might be mistaken. Oh, yeah, they are open. And into the pits some cars go. Tribe and Splurge going for an early pit stop, as is Mika. So interesting choice from them. The tyres wouldn't have been that worn from this particular stage, but perhaps just a switch of strategy. In they go. Mythical also in the GT category going to be making a pit stop. And I think this is when everyone was cycled through, and indeed the safety car is in. And there's a bit of contact to the back, but we are green and racing again. Shout out to the person that liked my activity. And look at this, Splurge going to be challenging Houdini. Oh, there's contact between the two teammates, the A and B teammates, and that is Splurge coming under pressure from Tribe as well. Tribe up to third. Pesca fourth at the moment, but look at this from Tribe. Tribe really pressuring. Mika down to fifth at this point. He's gonna have a lot of work to do, especially since he did qualify second. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he can do. Here's Pesca making their way down the hill and down towards the hairpin, and Tribe. There you see him, and Mika just, you can see the glowing brake discs from the amount of force that they're having to put up with. It's Arama who has pretty much led this race up to now. We're now just going to have a look at the GT3 restart. So again, it's single file after safety car procedures, and again it looks quite unchallenged, although there's yellow flags as someone actually went off in the LMP field. Of course that would have been Houdini, making their way through the Mercedes arena. Pretty much unchallenged at this point. Bit of a backfire as they also see Houdini making their way through the traffic after they were caught out at turn 1 with that collision with their teammate. And now we're seeing a bit more action as down the inside goes Mika. He's going to try and make a move on Pesca. It seems Pesca's holding them for a little bit. Mika runs wide. I'm trying to get myself into the mix as well. Down the inside there's contact between the two of them. We go on board temporarily. There you see Pesca. He has let Mika through after all of that. Myself trying to find a way through as well. Can't quite get it. I'm going to be held up a little bit more. Trying to make my way through. That Audi is very strong in acceleration zones with that hybrid system. Down towards the hairpin again. And fantastic livery work by Pesca on this car. Making their way up through the Schumacher S. There goes Mika. Now heading up towards the chicane at the final sector of the circuit. And it looks like Pesca's ran a little bit wide. They're onto the grass. And very nearly colliding with me on the rejoin. But I managed to just about get ahead. Although still side by side as they go down a straight. You've got to think the non-hybrid Peugeot should have an advantage on the straights. Indeed it does. As I make my way up into 5th place. Mika meanwhile now up to 4th, and a bit of a snap it seemed mid-apex for Tribe. Again still trying to get used to the car. It's a very feisty one indeed. It's that TSO 50, but the TSO 30, the older car, looking to find its way through here. Fantastic joining between the two of them. All a little bit of contact, I think. It's forced Tribe a little bit wide. Mika slots back in. And running wide again goes Tribe. That was unassisted that time, and down the inside goes Mika. He doesn't need a second time of asking to take that one. Up through the Schumacher S again. That is Tribe down a position. Meanwhile, on the GTs, Brandon with a 0.5 second penalty. That would be for track limit violations. A little bit of contact between them and GTO. Going on board now with the Ford Mustang. Looks like they're just gonna have to slot in at the moment. Although you can see the cornering speed far higher on the Mustang. Interesting to note. You wouldn't typically think that with a muscle car like it, but seeming to do quite well. Breaking down towards the hairpin again. These two extremely close, and if you look there, also the Aston Martin of Mythical coming into the picture. They're certainly in this scrap as well, trying to use that outer curve to get the car to turn in. Heading up towards these right angle corners, and it looks like Brandon was thinking of making a move, couldn't quite get it to work. Still got that penalty to contend with as well. A little bit of a clip at the gravel for GTO, and down the inside goes Brandon. Fantastic run by them. There's contact, and that's the Hyundai sent off. Rejoins the circuit now ahead of Mythical, but that's Brandon. Upper position was a little bit rough. Here we can see it from GTO's perspective. It was probably just a case of GTO closing the line too much. It wasn't like Brandon was shoving him off circuit. Now look, here we are. Mika is caught up to the back of Splurge, who is going to be struggling a little bit on their tyres in that Nissan. Of course, front wheel drive isn't the greatest on these particular circuits. These more technical circuits, but as you're about to see on the straights, it is very difficult to get past on board with Mika's car now, and the Nissan is just gone. It looks like I'm about to try and make a move around the outside as well. Late on the brakes, running a little bit wide. The hybrid of the TSO30 going to come into the mix as well, and I've just about managed to get that one to stick. I'm going to be looking to the outside of Splurge as well, round the outside in the Mercedes arena, 3 wide between these LMP rivals. And it seems that Splurge has managed to get in between me and Mika, but look at this, the straight line speed of the Nissan. Absolutely insane as they make their way down towards the hairpin again, round the outside. Yet again, fantastic stuff. And now Splurge, oh, he's losing it! And he's into the wall! It's going to be major damage for Splurge. The tyres just couldn't take it anymore. Seemed like he clipped a bit of the grass. As did I. Bit just using all of the track and then a bit more. Making our way through the Schumacher S. Still got Mika in hot pursuit. Making our way up towards the final sector of the lap. We're gonna have a replay of what happened to Splurge shortly. Here it is. So here you can see what happened. I tried to leave a car width, I just about did, and the grass just absolutely murdered the Nissan. Unfortunate to see. Meanwhile, back to the fantastic battles we've been seeing in the GT as well. This is the lead of the race at the moment, as Rotary makes a bit of a mistake that allows James to get a bit of momentum. And down the inside goes James. Will the Nissan GTR be able to make a bit of a run going down to turn 1 though? The GTR, one of only 2 cars in the Group 3 category to be in the 600 bhp club. And it looks like they are going to try and send it down the inside. Have they gone a bit too deep? No. That is Rotary retaking their position, now going through the Mercedes arena. The Aston Martin, the more aerodynamically shaped you would think, and down the inside they go a little bit of a tap, perhaps forcing Rotary a little bit wide, and then the cutback going out of the Mercedes arena. It's going to be really close now, making their way down. Is James going to look make a move? No, not quite here. Just putting himself in the mirrors of Rotary, trying to unsettle him. A little bit of the inside grass clip there that can put dirt on the tyres, and that can lead to a lack of grip, especially heading into a braking zone here. Rotary, does he get the car stop? Yes, he does. James seemed to brake quite early for that braking zone, interestingly enough. Perhaps the dirty air playing a part as well. Through the Schumacher S they go, and look at this, Farron has managed to gain so much time on James now, and Farron's going to be looking for a move down the inside. It looks like Farron's managed to get ahead. Fantastic stuff from Farron. They've managed to get up to second then on that occasion. The two are making contact, a bit of a wheelie from the Porsche, and it was at this point that we realised that they couldn't see each other on circuit, hence they kept morphing through each other. So unfortunate technical difficulties on this occasion. But the wheelies continue, expect to see a fair bit more of that. But still side by side action between the two of them. Farron just about ahead. And now not. But still exciting to see. As here you see Mythical trying to get a bit of a run on the Hyundai of GTO. Going into the slipstream, going out of it now. Who had the inside? GTO not defending the inside line.com. On the brakes, that's a nice tight line from Mythical. And through he goes. And this is a replay of something that happened to Tribe. We've seen him have difficulties before. Oh, it's just a bit of a twitch. And then sending it into Pescarolo. So the two of them will have major damage from that. It was more than likely just a twitch from the car and then into the wall again. For Tribe, unfortunate to see. The safety car, oh dear. Safety cars all over the place, unsafe today. Hopefully calm down by the time that they all catch up, and indeed here we are with the queue all caught up. We should be seeing some pit stops. We're going to see. Is anyone going to go in? It looks like I am. Splurges as well, so's Houdini and Pesca. Of course Pesca did pick up damage, so it would make sense for them to go in. Rotary staying out there, currently in the lead of the category. Again, morphing through, everyone is James and Farron. Brandon making a pit stop in the GT category, as Tribe as well, and here's Houdini with their crew, the Martini Racing team. Good pit stop by them, just the fuel to go. Same, just fueling up all round at the moment. Splurge leaving the pit lane first. Mythical, there you see them. Myself actually managing to get quite a jump on everyone else, so there's a bit of contact between Mythical and I think that was Taz, the GT. So that's going to extend the safety car period, and that now allows Mika to go into the pits. So they get a second chance of making a pit stop. So in they go. That will promote Arama to the lead on the restart, although I don't believe they have made a pit stop. And myself, who has made a pit stop, up to second. Same with Splurge, there third, and Tribe fourth, as the safety car now goes into the pits. And it seems that the cars are indeed green. Here we go. We're off again in the Nissan with a monstrous run on the outside, and myself up to second from a bit of a mistake from Arama, as we saw Tribe. Oh, bit of a twitch and contact between the two of those there. Myself and Splurge battling it out. Splurge, of course, will be on fresher tyres, and the long boy on fresh tyres is certainly a strong challenger. Couldn't quite get down the inside there. I'm going to try my best to line something up. Cars going a bit wide on the exit of Mercedes Arena. Tribe doing a good job at the moment in third. We see Arama as well is really held up after that mistake from first to fourth in the space of just a straight pretty much. Houdini as well, they are fifth at this point. They've just been kicked up in their face by Arama. Try making their way up through the Schumacher S, myself here as well. And Splurge, you can see the fresh tyres on the Nissan. When it isn't suffering from tyre wear, it is an absolute rocket. And here's the GT3 start. You can actually see that was Mika, who's really held up for some reason or another. No idea what happened to them. But it seems that Rotary had a very solid start. Oh no, they ran wide! And that's allowed Farron to get up into the lead and Brandon up to second. So very opportunistic from Brandon managing to overtake even James. James must have had a mistake as well. Mythical close in behind their teammate for Britannia Racing Syntec. Taz in the Corvette, oh, a bit slide McGee. Very fast flowing section with the banking on these corners, and Brandon gets it wrong. They're into the gravel. They stop, making sure there's no cars coming, get a safe rejoin. Fair play to them for that. So Brandon's messed it up, and that's promoted James back up to second. Although look at this from Taz. Taz getting the overtake done on Mythical, sorry, as they head up now towards the right angles up through the Schumacher S. It is Farron, the leader of the GT category. Here's what happened to Mika, meanwhile. Got it on replay, just oversteered. I was a bit too excited on the throttle at the restart, just didn't work out for them. Splurge and myself still battling it out. I managed to catch up a little bit as the tyres have started to wear on the Nissan. And down the inside I go. Have I overcooked it? No, not quite. A little bit of contact, but I managed to get the move to stick. That's me up into first. Splurge demoted now to second, and there's a bit of contact to the inside barrier for Arama. That's going to lose them a position to Houdini. They're going to have to make another pit stop from that. And this was there a little bit of contact? Oh, a bit more contact there if there wasn't, between Mythical and there was Rotary as well in the bright blue Nissan. Speaking of which, the bright blue Nissan is being chased down by GTO in the Hyundai. And we've got Le Mans prototype going through as well. This one's Rebellion cars, so car number 6 right on the back of the car number 32. On board we go with GTO, the Hyundai driver for Virtual Endurance Racing Team. Very solid on the brakes. You can see the glowing brake disc again. Fantastic choice of time to get that effect. This saw sunset conditions. Here's a bit of a replay of Brandon and Mythical. So Mythical just had a bit of a snap, it seemed, and lost it at the hairpin. It was very odd, because they did already have damage. Rotary now making their way down towards the hairpin. So still ahead of GTO, but GTO's coming under a bit of pressure from Brandon. They put the tyres on the dirt, and that means a bit of a lack of grip, and that allows Brandon to close up. Brandon currently going on their fastest lap so far as they make their way across the Sector 2 marker. In the slipstream of the Hyundai, they pull out. Are they going to send it? They do. It's a little bit of onion barges, and that has forced GTO out wide. And it seems that, are they going to give him the place? Yep. Brandon very sporting in that sense, just giving the place back. Flash of the lights between the two of them. Now heading up towards the chicane. Brandon gonna try it again. He runs a little bit deep. I don't quite think. Oh, there, a little bit of contact. And still on the inside is Brandon. just about manages to get the move to stick then. Brandon, a lot of hard work going into taking that position then. Meanwhile, the two that can't see each other on circuit, Farron and James, still going at it. Of course, from James' perspective, he'd think that he's in the lead of the race. From Farron's, he would think he's in the lead of the race. Farron actually in the lead of the race by this point, and Taz closing up on both of them, it would seem. Has a little bit more contact between the Porsche and the Aston Martin. A bit wide from the Aston, but manages to keep going. Tribe, meanwhile, has caught up to the back of Splurge, who's really starting to struggle on his tyres. On board we go with the Sterling Racing Team TSO 50 into the chicane. Oh, it didn't like that, and the TSO 50 spits him out. That's promoted Houdini up to third. And that Hyundai, four-wheel drive is the Hyundai, so should have very good acceleration, especially compared to the front-wheel drive Nissan. Of course, an A and B teammate relationship between these two, making their way through. And look at this, as the Nissan runs wide, Houdini managing to get a bit of a run. Is Splurge going to go through? No, he isn't. Perhaps he backed out the throttle there, realizing it was a friend and not a foe. And that's now promoted Houdini up to second to try and close down the gap to myself. As Splurge goes a bit wide and into the gravel at the hairpin. Had to be a bit careful on that rejoin as Tribe was going through. That's Tribe up to third. So Splurge is really losing time and positions on the worn rubber. Taz, meanwhile, closing in on James. Here you see it, Taz going down the inside, are they? Oh, it's close. Not quite there. Fair play to James for leaving the room on the inside for it. Into the slipstream we go. Corvette versus Aston Martin, V8 versus V12. And it's going to be the Corvette going down the inside, is it? No, James just about goes a bit later on the brake speeds, overcooked it, and indeed Taz does take the position. Fantastic stuff from the German, managing to force James into a mistake. And now him and his countrymen 1 and 2. James third at this stage, going to try his best to chase down the Corvette, and the Porsche of course ahead. Still on the bumper. Go to the bonnet cam here, you see the sunset as well here at the Nürburgring. Taz will be trying his best to chase down Farron. He's broken a little bit late. Is he going for a bit of a later apex? He can't quite find it. Lucky that James couldn't quite get a run on him on that occasion, as they now head up towards the Schumacher S. And now going into the chicane, just cutting a little bit later on. James doing a good job with that, and James actually going into the pits. So an interesting strategy call, trying to perhaps get a bit of an undercut on the two cars ahead. Will it work out for them? We'll have to see. If these two start scrapping, it will certainly work out for him. At the moment it is Farron still leading them off. In LMP, Splurge finally making the pit stop for tyres. And tyres only, as they now make their way out. So they've dropped down to 6th with Arama. They just saw them 5th. You see a rough gauge of the gap. Rotary now into the pits. So the Arras Motorworks by Vert team doing a good service and fueling the car up. Now where will they come out in relation to Mythical? Here's Mythical coming down the start-finish straight. It's going to be close. They've released the car. It's going to be really close between the two of them. And the Aston Martin just about goes through, do they? Yep. So Mythical managing to get out ahead. Meanwhile, Taz and Farron close together still. Myself having to go through the middle of them, trying to put a lap down on them, of course different categories. Might have unsettled them a little bit, my apologies for that. But Taz looking very, very strong in that Corvette at the moment, going down towards the hairpin at the bottom of the circuit. They're going full send! Down the inside they go! And a fantastic move by Taz. Sends them up into the lead of the race in their debut event and their home race as well. Here's the move again on the onboard, you can see what happened. Was down the inside, extremely committed, managing to get that to work, caught Farron napping, and up into the lead of the race. GTO, meanwhile, holding James a little bit. Will be hurting James after they made that pit stop for fresh rubber. The 3 wide with them and the LMP of Tribe. Tribe, of course, at 3rd place at the moment, is going to try his best though to use Tribe, unsettling them to go down the inside, and indeed GTO is running a bit wide and giving up the position, perhaps trying to use James as a way of just going a bit faster themselves, use a bit of that slipstream to see if they can catch up. Meanwhile, Mythical is being caught by Rotary, as we can see. The fresh tyres on the Nissan certainly starting to pay off. Another Nissan in the back, there you see the long boy going through. It's going to split the 2 of them, I think. Just about round the outside the Nissan goes of the Aston Martin. And now will Rotary have a bit of a run going down towards the chicane. Very heavy braking zone as we see, plenty of fog on circuit as well. He certainly looks for it, and down the inside he goes. Side by side through the chicane, they're still side by side. Bit of a slide from the Aston Martin, and it looks like the Nissan is just about going to get it to work. Yep, there's Rotary upper position. Oh, very slidey on exit though. That's going to allow Mythical to perhaps make a move in return. Will Mythical be able to try something down into turn 1? It looks like they're a little bit too far back. Oh, they've outbroke themselves massively. Off circuit they go. Luckily didn't hit any walls, and also very luckily didn't hit Rotary. And meanwhile this is Tribe just running a bit wide at the head, and we've seen that on several occasions from several different cars, just running a little bit wide, carrying too much speed. That's allowing Arama to catch up. So the battle for 3rd is still on. Arama's had a fair bit of trouble in this race. They're making their way back up. Of course they were our pole sitter, Brandon just allowing the cars to go by as well. You can see we are on board with Arama's car, of course. That TSO50 up ahead though, a far better hybrid system, just able to pull away on acceleration. It's at the higher top speed stuff that the TSO30 has the advantage over its younger brother. Through the chicane they went, and through the final corner. Could be interesting to see. Decent exit by Tribe. Will the TSO30 of Arama be able to get a bit of a run though? They're alongside, and it looks like, yep, the BOP allowing the TSO30 to go through on this occasion, but through the Mercedes arena the TSO50 should have a bit more of an advantage. We're now seeing GTO and Rotary just about alongside, having a duck and dive in the slipstream. And it looks like Rotary is just about going to get that stop. Yep, down the inside they went. Houdini now into the pit, so they are going for what I can only assume is their final pit stop at this point. And now we're seeing Mika in the second of the Rebellion by Nukeshot cars, closing up to Tribe. Tribe going very defensive through the turn 1 complex, now through to the Mercedes arena. Bit of a penalty for Mika, 1.2 seconds. That'll be track limits. It's the only way you can get in-game penalties in the NES, at least at this particular setup that we have. Tribe doing a good job defensively. This is where he made a bit of a mistake before though. this section, and he's ran a little bit wide, so a different mistake, but still losing out. Is he? No, the hybrid keeps him alive. He's gonna try the outside. Oh, but no, he got the wheels on the grass and then the gravel, and it didn't work out for them. Mika up to third. It is a Nukeshot 1, 2, and 3 yet again, with Tribe fourth and Houdini closing them down in fifth after that mistake from Tribe. Speaking of mistakes, a bit slidey from Mika, as Tribe making a bit of a bodge off the chicane. That allows Houdini to go through. Arama into the pits as well as Mika and Tribe, so a few pit stops in LMP happening now. Houdini managing to get up to second from all that. Of course, they did pit a little bit earlier on, so that undercut has worked out for them fantastically. Arama also going through. It's going to be close between them and Mika, is it? No, Arama very clearly through, and Tribe will rejoin in fifth. Taz, meanwhile, making their way through the chicane. It's been a very good debut by them. Here they're going into the pits from the lead of the race, so they have an extra pit stop to do. And I'm not sure if James has another one to do. We'll have to see. James will inherit the lead from that. And Rotary coming under pressure from Farin. So Nissan versus Porsche, making their way through the chicane. Let's see how it develops. The Porsche with fantastic traction and drive, as we normally see from Porsche race cars, going out of the corner and now onto the straight. Myself in the Peugeot LMP also going through, as someone is just leaving the pits. I believe that might be Taz. As side by side they go into the braking zone. Farron going to try the inside. Not quite. They're going to try their best to stick with them through the Mercedes arena. Not quite again, but look at the cutback from the Porsche. And the Nissan still just about holding its own. So fair play to Rotary for them, for good racing between the two of them. And indeed it was Taz that came out of the pits. There you see them in the Corvette just a bit up the road. So Rotary will be doing their best to chase them down, but the last thing they need is a pressuring Porsche behind them. And look who is right behind them. As we go on board with Farron. Of course, home race for Farron as well. Through the hairpin they go. The Porsche seeming to have a fair bit better cornering than the Nissan. So contrasting styles, the Nissan tends to be very solid on the straights, the Porsche weapon in the corners. Through the Schumacher S they seem to be quite even. And now looking here, we see a bit of a move making. There goes Farron. Can't quite get ahead actually, so the Nissan's power certainly being an advantage for them. On the brakes, will they be able to do something? They send it just about. There's a little bit of contact. Very, very hard racing, and it looks like Farron's going to try and send it around the outside line.com. Side by side through the Mercedes arena still. The Nissan will probably try to get a bit of a cutback on the Porsche, get a bit of a better exit, get ahead for this next section. Will they be able to do it? It looks like they can't. So that is Farron up a position. Meanwhile, James seems to have made a bit of a pit stop or something up ahead. They're now behind Taz. Indeed, looking at the lap times, they have made a pit stop. So that means Taz is back up to the lead of the GT3 category. But well, now with James closing down on them. Here we go for a rear wing cam on the Corvette. If you couldn't tell, with the Chevrolet logo, of course. Looking back at the charging Aston Martin with that V12. Coming up to the chicane, are they going to send it? We go back to the off-board cameras, and down the inside goes James. A little bit of contact between the two of them again, but James managing to get the move to stick. A fantastic move by James, sending them up to the lead of this race. Now will Taz be able to do anything in retaliation on board now with the Corvette front cam? It looks like they can't quite match the Aston on the straights. They're going to have to see if they can do something in the corners. A bit of a lock-up, it seemed, from the Aston in the braking zone. Ran a bit wide, not enough to lose out though. Meanwhile, LMP battle between Arama and Houdini as they're making their way through traffic. That was mythical in Wards of Britannia Racing Simtech Aston Martins. Look at this from Arama, trying to chase down Houdini, heading down towards the hairpin. Will they be able to get it done? No. Very defensive lines by Houdini, keeps it nice and tight through the hairpin. But the hybrid will kick in for the TSL 30, not before the Schumacher S though. Very defensive driving at the moment from the Portuguese. Now heading up towards the right angles. Oh, there's seen a bit of contact into the gravel. Goes Houdini. We're gonna have to get a replay of that one. What happened there? Here we are. Was it a bit of contact yet? Oh, yes, certainly. And that's damage for Arama's car, as well as Houdini's as well, more than likely. Those positions will probably be changed post-race. Meanwhile, Tribe very nearly into the wall of tyres. That would have been a very expensive bill if it wasn't for Gran Turismo resetting them. Farron closing down on Taz. Not that many laps to go now. Farron looking to the inside. They use a bit of the grass. There's a little bit of contact as well. They get through. Will Taz be able to outbrake them? Not quite. Oh, bit of grass cutting from Taz as well. That Corvette very confident going over the curbs. Bit too confident as they pick up a 1 second corner cut penalty. That's pretty much going to be the nail in the coffin for Taz's challenge, at least on this occasion. Brandon on the final lap of the race having to defend from Rotary. So Rotary doing their absolute best to try and get an extra position. Rotary with a 0.5 second penalty, probably for corner cutting as well. Side by side through the hairpin, bit of ghosting. And round the outside goes Rotary, fantastic move by them. That takes them up a position now. There's a Rebellion trying to get their way through at the Schumacher S. But after around 2 years and 9 days, I believe it's been, since the last time it's happened, it is myself who is going to win the race here at Nürburgring. Congratulations to me. I know, selfless and all that. Splurge spinning out in the background was a lap down in the end. They take 6th. It's Arama taking 2nd on this occasion. Houdini 3rd. I believe that was reversed in the standings afterwards based on the incident. I might be mistaken. It might have been a different penalty, but I think that's what happened. Mika will come across the line to take 4th anyway. Tribe will be 5th because of that. Here is Tribe making their way up through the chicane, the final corner to go. They go very, very slowly now. They haven't ran out of fuel, have they? Oh, I think that's just slowly coasting. There you see GTO making their way across the line, and Splurge, of course, finishing 6th at the end of things. James will be the final car to come across the line. An extra lap on everyone now, as they managed to cross the line before being lapped. It was Farron ahead of Taz for 2nd and 3rd, then Rotary and Brandon 4th and 5th, GTO 6th. Mythical will come across the line in 7th, there they are. And it is going to be James who will take the win in the GT3 category here at the Nürburgring. We hope you've enjoyed the fantastic action that we've seen in this particular highlights package of AM Split delivering once again. We hope you've all enjoyed. This has been Zokeo once again on Half the Race Gone, as James rounds the final corner now. Thanks for watching.